now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. One of my viewers sent me a video of a sister who made inquiry into a construction site in Crenshaw, Los Angeles, and as she was making an inquiry into why there were no black male workers, I got an insight into why many brothers like myself have a hard time finding work in our own community. Now, this video is used under fair use of United States copyright law, and it's part of my criticism and commentary that I'm going to make in this video.
Hi, I'm trying to figure out how many black people clocked into work today on this site.
Why?
Well, you're in a predominantly black community,
right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I see a lack of black people on these construction sites, and
yes.
You guys are supposed to be doing local hiring.
Well, this is a non-union project, so
okay.
It doesn't apply to the local hire under non-union.
Okay.
Okay.
How many black people?
So the issue of it is that that's not an appropriate question.
It's a very appropriate question because we're talking about equity and inclusion.
Okay,
it's a very appropriate
who
question.
are you with?
I'm actually a journalist.
Okay, nice, but here's the deal.
I'm a community member. The
That's
biggest
fine.
thing of
That's
all.
fine.
I'm just wondering.
Well,
I was
here's
driving
the
by
deal.
and I saw no black people. I'm not trying to
That's
be
right.
combative.
You
and
are.
I'm not trying. Anyways,
Yes, so
I just
let's put it
wonder
this way.
how many black people.
The subcontractors hire their people.
Yeah.
I don't hire people.
And what do you do?
I'm the superintendent of the job.
Okay.
That means I run the job. I don't hire people.
And what company are you with?
The company's called Associated Construction.
Okay.
Okay?
And how many black people do you guys have on your team?
We don't have any black people on our team.
And why are you in a predominantly black community then doing that?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
I'm not recommended by my company to hire anybody at all. I don't hire anybody.
No problem.
So that's being said. So,
okay, and what's your name?
My name is Bob.
Bob.
Yes.
Sounds appropriate. Bob what?
Bob Smith.
Bob Smith.
Yes.
Okay, so I see you got a photo of Martin Luther King over there.
That's right.
Why? But no
Why?
black people on the site.
Why? Because not off my site.
Because you got Martin Luther King in this mug, but no black people. You're rude and condescending.
You need to get off my site. You're not allowed to be on my site.
That's fine, but get out of my face. I'll kindly walk away.
Thank you.
Get the
Thank
fuck
you.
out of my face.
I'm out of
you
your face.
Racist piece of shit.
I'm not even racist.
You
I'm
are.
Italian.
You're a racist.
Just
You're
please,
what?
ma'am.
You're what?
Italian.
It don't matter.
Come on,
It don't matter. You're still white passing looking man. Just because you're Italian don't mean you can't be racist against black people. You're in a black community with no black workers. What are you gonna do? You're in a black community with no black work. It's not a black person on over here. It's not a black person over here.
It's not my problem.
Why are you in a black community?
Ma'am, off my site.
Ma'am,
off my
that's
site.
very racist, condescending
Ma'am,
stuff
I don't
to
have
say.
to. Right.
Yeah,
off my
exactly.
site. Off my
Bob,
site.
Bob,
Yes.
Bob,
Off my site.
Bob.
Off my site.
They on Crenshaw Boulevard doing this, y'all.
Thank you very much.
Across from Gorilla RX.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Bye. Damn.
Now, this sister walked up on this construction site and made an inquiry to the foreman as to why there are no black people working on this construction site. Now, this construction site is in Crenshaw, Los Angeles, which is a predominantly black part of Los Angeles, yet there are no black people working on this construction site, building whatever property is being built. Now, this is quite troubling because oftentimes, in order to build in these predominantly black areas, many of these developers have to go to these city councils and other zoning boards to go out here and get this approval, and they're supposed to be hiring so-called minorities, but it seems like when it comes down to hiring so-called minorities, they don't seem to hire any black men on any of these construction sites. And that's troubling because while these people are saying that they want to go out here and build in black communities, they don't want to build up the black economy. No, what they want to do is go out here and gentrify these neighborhoods by going out here and buying large amounts of property. Then they go out here and invest in so-called minorities in order to meet diversity quotas with the EEOC. So what they will do is go out here and get these whole approval for these properties as they gentrify communities like Crenshaw, Los Angeles. And what they will do, instead of investing in the black men in those communities by providing them jobs, what they do is go out here and hire a minority like a Hispanic or an Asian or a woman. And what they will do is use them to be able to meet the diversity quotas so that they can get the grant money and other tax benefits like tax credits to go build in a black neighborhood. But none of that money will ever be given to many of the black men who were historically unemployed and underemployed in these areas. Many of those black men will never get any sort of employment opportunity where they can go out here and be able to start laying out an economic foundation for themselves, because what these individuals do is box black men out of the job market and prevent them from even being able to get employed at these construction sites. This is a passive-aggressive form of discrimination, and it's passive that they talk about so-called diversity, but aggressively they use ways to box out black men by using minorities as a buffer to meet the diversity quotas. And once they meet the diversity quotas and get their projects approved and get their grant money and tax credits, they don't share any of that wealth with foundational black Americans who live in the community and allow them an opportunity to go out here and make a living. So yes, you're building in a black community, but you're tearing down the black economy. Again, passively, yes, you can say on paper you're building in the black community, but aggressively you tear down the black community because there's no investment in any of those black men. And with there being no investment in those black men where they can get these jobs, develop these construction skills in carpentry, electrician, and other skill sets that they can go out here and take from one job to the other, what they do is they hire a white person to be in charge, and then that person goes out here and allegedly subcontracts to another white person or another Hispanic person, and then they use that as a way to avoid hiring any black people and hiring any black person to be able to work on their site. And while they're doing this, again, the money that is invested in the community goes out of the community and it enriches people at the expense of that black community. And then once that project is finished being constructed, they then go out here and use the property assessors to raise the value of the property. And then these landlords go out here and raise the rents, pushing out black-owned businesses and pushing out black residents right out of their community, showing us the insidious nature of gentrification and its impact on all of those black residents. Now, what was really deeply disturbing about this whole video is that as this sister is out here making an inquiry about why black men are not being employed on this construction site, you have a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inside of that whole office as related to that construction site. So these individuals are aware of the reason why they're getting their money as related to so-called diversity, and they just are out here looking to participate in open discrimination against the black men that they're getting the benefits for. So they go out here, have a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the wall of their office, and then as they have this picture, they openly participate in anti-black racism by denying black people opportunities to work on a site that's supposed to be being built in their community, and they don't allow black people to go out here and make money on a site where they're making money at the expense of foundational black Americans in their own community. That is the most disturbing thing to watch as related to all of this. But everything I saw in this video basically proves a point I learned way back in 2007 and 2008 when I went out to apply for civil service jobs at the City University of New York. Now, the City University of New York, when I was there, was always touting about how it was all about diversity. But whenever I went to the hiring pools for their CUNY office assistant position, what they would do is find ways to avoid hiring heterosexual black men like myself, and they would go out here and openly discriminate against heterosexual black men. However, whenever you brought it up and decided to make a request to talk about it, what they would do is say, oh, it's not substantiated because they hire other minorities and hire black women. And what they would do is hide their discrimination of black men because they didn't want straight black men on their jobs. And this is the exact same thing being done on this construction site, because many of these young 18, 19-year-old brothers, they could benefit from these jobs. They could benefit from being laborers and working with all sorts of different people in construction, learning how to hang sheetrock, learning electrician, learning how to work with the mortar. They could be learning valuable skills, but many of these young brothers wind up getting boxed out of these jobs because you've got people in places like politics, like a lot of these black bootlicks and these white supremacists. They look to box black people out of these jobs, and they look to box us out because they don't want us, one, being able to collect a paycheck on their site, two, being able to have economic power, and three, being able to join a union and be able to make a living by doing this as a skilled trade. So they want to deny black men opportunities at these kind of jobs because they don't want black men having that type of economic power. Moreover, they don't want black men in the union demanding their rights. So what they want to do is circumvent black men, but they want to come into black communities, and what they want to do in black communities is push out all of those black individuals by participating in this type of discrimination, where they make it look like, oh, we're all about diversity. We've got Dr. King's picture on the wall, but you deny black people their chance at Dr. King's dream. You deny black people an opportunity to go out here and make a living. You deny black men those opportunities, yet you want to say you want to build in a black community. And that just shows the hypocrisy of many on the left as related to these kinds of projects, which gentrify black people out of their neighborhoods, gentrify black people out of their communities, gentrify them out of a way to go out here and make a living. And this sister was right in asking, okay, where are all the black people who are supposed to be on these jobs? Because again, a lot of these jobs, a lot of these companies, when they develop in these neighborhoods, they get tax credits, they get government grants, and they get all of these diversity grants, but you don't see a single black person working on any of these jobs. And that is by design, because they don't want to see black people be empowered at all. No, they want to use black people as a way to get a stepping stone to making themselves wealthy at the expense of our poverty, by saying, oh, this neighborhood's so full of crime, this neighborhood's so full of drugs. Well, we want to improve the quality of the people's lives, but the only people whose lives they want to improve the quality of are many of those rich people at the top. They don't really care about any of those black people, because if they cared about those black people would be working on these sites. And again, many of these brothers who are sitting on the corner, they would be at this job working all day. If they truly cared, they would be out to try to put these brothers on these jobs, because some people will sit there and say, oh, they don't have the skills. Well, many of these immigrants, when they come to these sites, they can go get these jobs, and they can't even speak English at all, but they can go out here and get this job in construction with no education, no ability to read and write. But the black man who finishes high school or even finishes college, like myself, when we come to that site, what we get told is, you're not qualified, you can't have this job. But they can give jobs to immigrants who have no education and don't even have citizenship in some cases, all while they're getting all of this government grant money and all of this different tax credits for those black people in that community, but they can't give those black men in the community those jobs. And this is the kind of tangible I'm talking about as related to your vote. These types of construction projects are the kinds of tangibles that are denied foundational black Americans. When we go out here and talk about voting, this is the type of tangible we want. We want the tangible jobs being brought back here for foundational black Americans to work on these sites and be able to go out here and help build and improve and benefit from the building of their own community. Because what happens in these cases as related to these kinds of projects is, yes, they build in your community, but the money goes out of your community, and as it goes out of your community, the money goes into the pockets of everybody else, part of that 3.3 trillion in cash and credit that winds up leaving your community and helping others go out here and be able to send their kids to private schools, enables them to go out here and live well in fancy homes outside of areas like Crenshaw. And I guarantee you the owner of this building will be some other individual who lives outside of Crenshaw. So again, all of these people building in a black community while tearing down the black economy. And that's something black people like this sister are starting to stand up against and call out, because you're going to come to our community to build, but then you tear down our economy by not investing in us. And that type of benign neglect is we're tired of seeing that. Because if you want to go out here and get tangibles from the black community, then you need to go out here and support those in the black community. Because if we went to any other community, a white or an Asian or a Hispanic community, talking about we wanted to build something in that community, those people would be, one, saying that you would have to go out here and hire people from the community to work there, and two, you would have to provide some sort of business venture that would allow that community to benefit. But the black community does not demand tangibles in exchange for business in their community, because many black folks, sadly, are too caught up in clout chasing for sneakers, big butt women, and social status on social media. But they're not thinking about building tangibles in their own community. And this is what leads to black communities like Crenshaw winding up with black people being made poorer as others build in their own neighborhood. Now, this was a video that was sent to me by one of my viewers, and I felt so passionate about it, I had to make a video about what went on here. Because as somebody who was denied employment opportunity because companies go out here and they hire women over black men, I see how so many black men don't get these type of opportunities, and it really frustrates me, because I myself wanted to go out here and get one of these jobs for years and always was denied for the exact same reasons that brothers here are denied. And again, they sit there and put a picture of Dr. King up there, but when you really look at it, these hypocrites won't even hire a black man like myself. And that is a thing that disgusts me the most about this whole situation, is that black men like myself who have the skills and the education, we get told, oh, there's no jobs here, but they got jobs for everybody else out here. And this sister, I thank her for going out here and reporting this story, because this goes on practically on every job site and every job location these days. They will find a way to avoid hiring black men, except for the dirtiest of dirty jobs. And then they don't, even if they can find a Mexican or a Hispanic person to do that, they'll find that person to avoid hiring that black man. Again, denying black men the ability to make a living. And that is the most reprehensible thing about this. You are coming to a black community, but you won't allow black men that opportunity to go make black dollars. Now, if you want to help me be able to continue building the SJS Direct Imprint, but you can pick up the books on the SJS Direct Imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Hayes series, and the books of the Spencerella trilogy. You can find all these books and my men's issues books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwares, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, You can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.